One of the most extraordinary things we've seen yet, and that is, again, a very high bar to clear, but the Trump administration continues to absolutely drop my jaw. Would you ever, in a million years, imagine that a United States president, never mind a Republican president, because Republican presidents have always been very buttoned up, and gentlemanly, and most Republican presidential candidates are too gentlemanly to ever do what Donald Trump just did yesterday. You talk about a good old-fashioned bait-and-switch, rope-a-dope pantsing. This was brilliant. He drags in the South African president, Ramaphosa, and makes him sit there in the office with him, with all the press gathered around, and then he rolls footage of the white genocide and the members of his parliament that are calling for white genocide. Trump calls this guy out to his face while sitting there with him in the White House. I've never seen anything like it. It was extraordinary. I don't have time to play the full video of these members of parliament chanting, leading chants of death for white farmers. Here's some of Trump confronting this South African president yesterday. 21:58. Take a listen to this.
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No,
nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now
the farmers are black. The farmers are not black. I don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off. They died violently. And we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here, but I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake, like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible, but if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it, but the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it, but they won't.
This is why Donald Trump is president. Everyone who is sane and understands what is truth and justice understands that this guy had the fortitude to call this South African president right there, call him out in front of everybody and say, "You're lying. White farmers are dying. They're being murdered. In many cases, they're being encouraged by members of your government, and you're doing nothing about it." And he's sitting there humming, making excuses. Trump is sitting there by himself on his home turf, prosecuting the South African president to his face and the media in the room. This is as badass as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. This is why he's my president. This is why I have a picture framed and hanging on my office wall of shaking that man's hand, because I don't believe I've ever seen or will ever see another man leading this country like Donald Trump. That's right. He's leading like a man. He's staring down these vicious liars, both in the press and these leaders from South Africa who are targeting people for their race, and he's calling them out to their face like a man. The brass button set in the Republican Party for too long has said, oh, that's not very diplomatic. That's not, you have these conversations in private. Same deal with Ukraine. Remember when he had that little twerpy Ukrainian president, Zelensky, in there? Dressed him down, said, take a hike, get the hell out of here. And then saw him again at the Vatican and said, come over here. Pulls up a chair, and it looks like he's coaching a basketball game. This guy is just straight-up masculinity at a time this country desperately needs it, and I love it. I love it. Now, what was he so ticked off about NBC? I'll tell you. If you didn't hear it, Peter Alexander, who is the White House correspondent for NBC, while Trump has just shown evidence of white farmers being targeted, he's shown overwhelming evidence that members of parliament in South Africa openly lead huge, massive crowds in cheering and chanting for the murder of whites. Trump has displayed all of this for all the media to consume. Peter Alexander comes up with 2161 here, Polly. Here's when he gets the opportunity to ask questions after that video rolls. Here's what Peter Alexander says.
The Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
You know, you to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing, they also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC, because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead.
That's good. That's good. That's enough. That's enough. Now, over at PBS, this is how loathsome these people are. All right? They are eager to just completely ignore the story and disregard the case that Trump is making directly to the South African president. You have members of your own government who are calling for the assassination, the murder of whites and white farmers, and it's happening. PBS posts yesterday on X, white farmers have been murdered in South Africa, but those murders account for less than 1%. Oh, well, I mean... And I said on X, that tone, that post, you know what that reminds me of? When Whoopi Goldberg was defending Roman Polanski, the pedophile director from Hollywood that ran off to France so he couldn't be prosecuted for his child sex. And because she's of the Hollywood elite types, she says, well, I don't know. It was a consensual relationship. It wasn't like, I mean, there's rape and then there's rape. Whoopi famously said on her show once, there's rape and then there's rape. PBS says, well, there's murdering whites and then there's murdering whites. I mean, it's just 1%. It's sick. And they are actually working diligently over at MSNBC to try to completely disprove that this is even a story at all, that whites are being targeted. More of this machismo. I just love it. It's rubbed off on little Marco Rubio. 2165. This guy's been a star. Take a listen to him with this Congresswoman Jaya Paul. 2165.
Student was a guest in the United States on a student visa. No one's entitled to a student visa.
So you revoked her
every
student
day,
visa based on an op-ed which trumps the supreme law of the land, which is the Constitution.
Someone's coming up here to stir up problems on our campus. We're going to revoke their visa.
She didn't do any of that. She wrote an op-ed.
Well,
she wrote an op-ed, and I'm talking to you about her particular case.
Claims and your claims. Those are not the facts.
You reclaiming my time. You revoked her student visa because
proudly.
she wrote an op-ed.
And
Would you
we'll do more.
revoke?
We're going to do more. We will revoke the visa of anyone who's in this country as a guest.
Are you going to revoke the visa of somebody who made that?
I mean, the case. I'll look at it. I'm looking to get crazy people out of our country.
Actually, it's not just about revoking. You actually, Secretary Rubio, excuse me, reclaiming my time. If these are legitimate law enforcement agents carrying out proper arrests, why are they hiding their identities?
Because then radical crazies will try to hurt them.
So Yeah, I did. And I'm going to do more, by the way, lady. Sorry you don't like it, but it's going to happen because I can. So, how do you like them apples? I just love this tone. I love it. Lee Zeldin did it, too. I'm going to have some of that for you coming up. Lee Zeldin, the EPA administrator. I mean, is this not the most fabulous cabinet ever assembled? I'm sorry, these people just excite the hell out of me. Every last one of them will sit down and stare a member of the media or some hostile Democrat right in the face and go, damn straight. We threw the bum out. And I do it twice again on Sunday if given the opportunity. And I don't make apologies, and we're going to do more, and ain't nobody going to stop me because the executive branch can do it. So how you like that? I just love this. This is what this country needs.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.